Welcome to the eye, not just the letter. First, we have the cornea, which protects the eyes and bends light to provide focus. Then there's the pupil. It's an adjustable opening that allows light into the eye. That's light. Then there's the iris, the cool, pretty part of the eye. It's actually a muscle, and it dilates or constricts. It goes like, or it goes like, and that to make sure that your eyes stay safe because it, constricts when light gets bright so you don't die. Then there's the lens, which focuses the light and projects them onto the retina. It's the thin inner surface of the back of the eyeball. And there's also this thing called accommodation, which is where the eye's lens change and bend to focus near and far light, like onto the retina. So if you go like this, or if you go like this, your lens is gonna change. The retina is the back of the eye. And there's also the fovea, which is where everything focuses, where there's like a lot more cells that go on so you can see things better.
All right, and then we go on to this diagram of rods and cones. Rods are the white thingies, and rods are photoreceptors in the back of the eye, aka the retina, that enable black and white vision. And then we go on to cones, which are the green parts, and they are photoreceptors in the back of the eye that detect color and fine detail, and it is also located in the fovea. All right, then we move on to this next diagram. As you can see, we still have rods and cones, but they transfer so you can understand what's going on. And so that first transition goes to the bipolar cell. And bipolar cell are specialized cells that transmit info from rods and cones to the optic nerve, or transmit info from photoreceptor cells to ganglion cells. Yes, right. Ganglion cells receive info from the bipolar cell. From the bipolar cells, and transmit it to the brain to process the information that it just received. Next, we go to the optic nerve, a bundle of ganglion cells that hooks the retina to the brain. And then finally, the thalamus. It is part of the brain where the thalamus is the train station, aka the thalamus sorts out the sensory info and sets it to specialized parts of the brain to process. This excludes smell.
Then we go into the process by which the light gets from the eyes and into the brain. The optic nerve divides up each eye into halves, and each half, the right half of each eye, ends up crossing at the optic chiasm and going to the left side of the brain. And the left half of each eye, like the left field of vision, will cross at the optic chiasm and go to the right side of the brain. They go to the occipital lobes, which contain the visual cortex. The visual cortex is part of the occipital lobe involved in vision. So there's the cerebral cortex, which is everything. Then there's the occipital lobes, and then there's the visual cortex. Most of the info is sent to the primary visual cortex, and is processed there before going somewhere else for more analysis. There's also feature detectors, which are shown in white, that are just cortical neurons, which is cerebral cortex neurons, that will respond to things specifically like shapes, angles, and movement. SAM. The blind spot is a weird thing in which the optic nerve connects to the eye at a certain point, and in that point there's no photoreceptors at all, so we can't see anything there, but the brain kind of automatically just fills that in so we don't just see nothing. Trichromatic theory is the theory that the retina contains 3 different color receptors, red, green, and blue. Like one sensitive to red, one sensitive to green, and one sensitive to blue. If you think about Roy G. Biv, the rainbow dude, his initials are RGB, which help you remember which 3 colors. It's the same way screens work too. They're small little red, green, and blue pixels that light up in different ways to produce the light that we see. The next theory is the opponent process theory, which is the theory that opposing retinal processes enable color vision, in which seeing things like red and green are opposites and blue and yellow are opposites the same way black and white are opposites.
The end.